Sitaram everybody, and welcome to our second night of satsang. Happy Makar Sankranti, happy Pongal for those of you in different parts of the world. Tonight, as we get set to continue in our discourse that is correlated to the different things we do as Hindus. Last night we would have touched on some of it. Last night we introduced the sandhya and what is sandhya and why we offer water, facing the sun, the eastern side, the time to do it. We'll discuss a little more about that tonight. And we spoke about the role that the Gayatri has to play, the Gayatri mantra, the burden of sin, cleansing of the individual. We spoke a little bit about diyas and anga diyas and different procedures, cleansing procedures that Hindus use during sandhya worship. What is sandhya worship? So this is what we started to discuss. And the correlation to Surya Puja. So Surya Narayan Swami, just to recap a little bit about it, Surya Narayan Swami is facing some demons on a daily basis. And when it first started, the devatas and the brahmanas started to offer water, as it were, to the sun, as we see, using charged with the Gayatri mantra. It became as if it was thunderbolts to repel, destroy these demons. And so the sun is able to shine, spreading his glory and his radiance, assisting a person in various ways, assisting the person's health. For one reason, assisting with photosynthesis and the plant life, the forestry, allowing life to continue. Another way is the maintenance of the temperature. And as a result, again, life, as it were, would be lost if it didn't have the temperature for our bodies to exist. So the role of the sun is very important. And this is where Hindus worship this body, this planetary body. And in our text, Vishnu Puran, it talks about the spinning of the earth, the orbit, and how in some parts of the earth, the orbit is spinning a little faster, and for that reason, the time finishes, the journey that the sun is going, finishes a little quicker. So in the journey of the sun, there is going to have a time when the nights are longer, and then the days are longer, where the nights are shorter. And we see that in our daily lives. So today marks where the sun starts his northward journey, entering the house of Makar, or that house that is ruled by his son, Shani Devta. And there are many discourses that I would have touched on in the past, explaining what you could do and what you could get help with and the purpose behind it. We all know the Mahabharata discourse where Bhishma Pitamaha is lying on the ground with arrows. He tells Arjun, Duryodhana is there, he's wounded in the battle. When they were fighting, a particular warrior came up with Arjun, and when the grandfather saw who it was coming to attack him, he took the blow. He did not react, he did not defend himself, and for this reason he was taken out of the battle, as it were. He was damaged. So now he's damaged, everybody calms down. It's not like when we have a fight in the world today where there are enemies and there's no principle. At this time, when people said fighting is stopped, the same people that were fighting were able to speak to one another, believe it or not. So Arjun is allowed to come, and Yudhishthira and all of them are allowed to come in the camp of Duryodhana and all the enemies to see their grandfather. And Duryodhana is offering the grandfather all the pillow and all the comfort that a king would have. And Bhishma Pitamaha says to Arjun, may you please give me a bed fitting a warrior. And this is where Arjun sets arrows as a bed and puts Bhishma on top of these arrows. And he lies there waiting for time to pass until this day came, Makar Sankranti day. It has a lot of religious significance. It is a day that a lot of purification is done. Just as you would know Baba, we want to have this puja. Baba, we want to have a yagna. Baba, we want to tie this child Janil. We want to get this child married. And we look for certain criteria, certain days that make some days more auspicious than other days. And this day is very auspicious for praschit. Praschit is one type of karma. There are different types of karma. Under the word karma, under the umbrella of karma, there are different types. Parabdha karma, praschit karma, etc. So praschit karma is that type of activity, that type of work where you are asking for forgiveness. Please clean me. Please wipe away on the record the mistakes I would have made. So this day, it is not the only day, let me be clear, it is not the only day you could do that, but this day is a big day. To use language that children will understand, it's a big day for this type of activity. With this introduction, having said this, tonight we are reading from the Agni Purana a lot. Because I was talking about my nephew yesterday, so he understood a little more about offering. The proper word is arg. We say dhar in local Trinidad language. Basically, I'm talking about holding the lota. In the books, it talks about holding the water in your hands and offering. What we do, we put water and different ingredients, and we hold it in the lota and we offer. Last time we learned a lot about the timing and the importance of that. Tonight we'll go further with this cleansing and how to do certain types of activities that we see we do and sometimes we don't know why. Tonight my goal is simple. I'm going to touch on a couple of things for you using Agni Purana as our text. My nephew went on today to ask, why did I have to scrub my skin with the till? Why did I bathe with till like this? Mama, why did I light a diya today? Simple as that, dear. Many children today it's not that you're argumentative. A child wants to understand you telling me to do this, but why am I doing it? And the reason why it becomes an irritant for many adults is because, well, child, I can't say, I don't know. And at some point we have to be very honest. I don't know. So tonight I would like to just touch on why we light the diya, and truthfully from Agni Purana, some details I'm telling you, it is going to be an eye-opener. Why do we put one wick? Why do we put this oil or that oil or the ghee? What is the benefit to me as a person? Why do we, for example, we're going to hear a little bit. Why do we throw the flower balls? Why do we throw the stone when the girl is coming home with the child? So we have a lot to cover tonight. In addition to that, he asked me, why do people fly kite in India? Today is National Kite Flying Day. It is partly to do with the changing of the season, but you're going to hear the religious reason behind it. So we are going to talk about why do we light the diya, why do we bathe with the till, the kite. I made a note here. What is the purpose of all this spiritual bath? Why did it talk about bathing? Because some people said in WhatsApp messages, well, Baba, I didn't know Hinduism had spiritual or prayers related bath. And tonight I want to talk a little bit about that as it deals with something Lord Krishna did. Let's put our hands together and do our invocation. And before we finish, I'll read this, I'll read this at the end. So we'll come back to this. Together, everybody. Om Gajananam Bhotaganadi Sevitam Kapeta Jumbo Palachar Vakshetam Umasutam Sho Kavinashikarakam Namami Veganeshwara Parapankajam Sarvamangalamangale Shive Sarvartha sadhike sharanye trayambike gauri narayane namostute. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Umapati Mahadeva ki jai. Siddharman, welcome again, everybody. If you came in late, if you're looking on and replay, please still send me your questions, and I invite everybody to share this satsang so that more and more people can learn as we will get into it. I'm telling you, you will see the value. Because if somebody came up to you and says, brother, sister, I see you lighting deer. What is that? Why do you light that deer? Is there significance to it? Why do you hold that deer so dear to your heart? Why is lighting that light part of being a Hindu? Part of the Hindu ritual. In every ritual, I'm lighting 10 diyas. For Devi Puja, I'm lighting many diyas, plenty diyas as we say, for Diwali time. If I go to do this ceremony where we are going from mud kurna to tot, when the wedding is coming, a light is lit in there. Wherever they go, to the bank of the river, whatever. When the boys are doing the puja at that particular titi, to do the worship for the river bank, Dharti Mata, may you please allow us the mud to go and do Ganesh Murti Tarpan for Ganesh Utsav. A light is lit there and left there. In many rituals, you will see this. Sometimes you see people put camphor on top of their prasad when they are going to offer it. Many examples of this light. But if you ask a person, and I want you to ask yourself that tonight, if somebody asks you, why do you like that? Why does it have to be a clay deer with wick, what we call wick, cotton strands like this? Why it has to be this? Mommy, could I light a flambeau? Somebody asked me that one time when they were going for their matikor. Could we light a flambeau instead and do arti with a flambeau? More light, more energy, bigger flame. And what we sometimes say is the tradition is to use the wick. Tonight we are going to get into a little more detail. I am not going to read the same discourse. The same Surj Narayan Sankranti means when the sun is moving from one house in the patra, meaning, let's just pretend I'm not off the top of my head, I only remember in the Hindi, but let's say we're going Gemini in the morning and in the evening time it have Capricorn. You're going from one place to another. Change it, the cusp in English. That is what a Sankranti is. There is one every month. And for this reason, based on text, it talks about what a person could do on that day to gain blessings, freedom from troubles, etc. So on a day like today, based on the procedure I put out, bathing with till, offering till, sharing tilly cake or something cooked with till. Today, mommy, baba made red bean and she put till inside of it. So for example, till, offering till Anjali or water with till to the ancestors through Lord Krishna. Havan with till, Gayatri Jap. There are many temples right now live. I'm sure there are different people looking at different places doing Havan. And I encouraged everybody to do it, but now it's too late. If you're doing it now, the sun is already set. Remember, we spoke about that. Sandhya. Sandhya is when the sun is going down, that dusk time. Before that is to go down. That is the time to do worship. If somebody says to me, we have to do Havan now, is this the most appropriate time? No, it isn't. That time is gone. So now we enter into the Agni Purana, chapter 72, as we are about to hear about what is to be done when we are talking about sandhya worship. Just little tidbits, some little pointers that might bring a little clarity to you as a Hindu, and then we'll get into more and more discourse to answer some of these questions. Wonderful discourse tonight, everybody. Let's go together. Narayanaya Krishnaya Paramatmaya Namo Namah. Narayanaya
Krishnaya
Paramatmaya Namo Namah. Nam jasa asit brahmastra sansar kal nal pravayaham mal snana vidhanatam somukha jalatarnaye yahi. Narayanaya Krishnaya Paramatmaya Namo Namah. Narayanaya Krishnaya Paramatmaya Namo Namah. Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki Jai. He says in this section, Skand, the son of Lord Shiva, is listening to Mahavishnu as he is describing what is to be done in his Sandhya time. And the first thing here he is describing is how a person goes to do bath in the river. You know, like when Hanuman Baba was going, just to make a reference, going to get the mountain, what he would have been when when he's holding the mountain. One of the things he did after he was flying, he went down and he was instructed to go and have bath. And it is not to physically bathe alone. Do you only physically bathe? You don't pray when you're bathing? Tonight you're going to hear a little bit about that and the importance of it. When people go to the rivers, holy tirat, places of worship, the dirt, not only the water, the dirt is used to masawi, to scrub the body. When you go in different place and you see the munis, rishis, different people are scrubbing their body. If you go to Kartik, when it is Kartik month, and people go to have that sin purifying bath at the seaside or in the river, more important is the river, the fresh, the salt-free water. They would take the dirt or the sea sand and they would exfoliate, scrub their body to rid themselves of that physical dirt because of associating with people who are not clean, who are not fasting, who are not prayerful, and they want to engage in prayerfulness, so now they are going to clean themselves. It talks here about the person would then enter the water and lifting their two hands, offer. As the sun is coming up, the person is offering water there. He says, after performing sandhya, snan in that way, another way, a person could do it. A person is going to do vidhi snan. Vidhi snan is when you take different type of water from sacred places and you are putting your hands together. There are different mudra. There are different ways for you to put your hands when this water is going to be poured upon your body, whilst prayer is going to be chanted, so that the waters charged with the mantras, it must remove the remaining filth from within your body or on your body. Sometimes you see they use again a little bit of dirt, a little bit of clay, and the person's body is scrubbed 7 or 10 times whilst chanting what mantra? The mantra of Lord Shiva. Starting on the eastern side of the person's body, working around in a clockwise. Sometimes you see somebody walking around somebody when you are having bath, let's say, when the person is tying the janeu, when the person is getting married, when the person is after having the baby, and different bath is given to these people. There is a way to call upon that devta to remove the filth, physical remnant blood in the case of a pregnant girl, with all respect. In the case of a person who had surgery, male or female, and you are going from unclean to clean, I want to get back to do puja. You use Sara mantra. Sara mantra is those particular prayer where you hear funny endings. Om Namah Shivaya. We are accustomed with that. Om Rudra Rudraya Namah Hum Fat. And you might hear Swaha. Shara or Sara mantras. Using these prayers, the person is saying the prayer whilst the water is falling on him. And examples of this is, again, when the boy is going to tie his jani after cutting his hair, when you see the wedding, the morning of the when you're going to get married, and the example of when the girl has had her baby, 6-day, 12-day procedure. Let's hear what he says in this next verse, this next sloka. Jai Bole Baba Tab Sharanam. Jai Bole Baba Tav Sharanam. Jai Bole Baba Tav Sharanam. Jai Samba Sada Shiva Tav Sharanam. Jai Samba Sada Shiva Tav Sharanam. Shivane Dashda Somya Yojan Katraye Karmatyate Sarvadikshor Shiyoyetam Hamsa Vahanaye Kuryat. Jai Bole Baba Tav Sharanam. Jai Bole Baba Tav Sharanam. Umapati Mahadeva Ki Jai. Taking mantras of Shiva, of Devi, a person is told to touch their arms, scrub their body with what? Clay again. And now the different places where there's an opening in the body, these places, the aperture, the orifice of the body is washed and cleansed. Cleaning the person in this way, they would now take a plunge in the water if they are alive. If the person is not alive, think what I am saying, doesn't it happen on the morning of the funeral that the families journey to the funeral home and they have to prepare the body? The first thing you do when you are going to prepare the body is to clean the body, wash the body. And the place you have to wash, with all respect, is every orifice, every opening, the mouth, the skull, the lower ones, the navel and lower. Everybody understand what I just said? It is important to purify this body before Vaushat, before offerings are being made. What we have today though is, because people don't understand the importance of washing the body and then putting little milk and dahi and bathing the body and putting the sandalwood paste, maybe a little bit from Baba, or we get cream where it have sandal paste oil or something in it and we rub that body. This is my parent, I want to do it the best way and I am going to get the optimum blessing for doing it properly. But you know what, Babs? We got just pay them people, you know, the different service providers, and let them bathe my mother, let them bathe my father, and how it go, Baba, come on, let me get through. Would that be sattvic prayers? Gita says when you do prayers for your convenience, when you do prayers for the ease or easy way out, that is tamasic prayers. Read it in Gita. He says when a person does this, the body is considered to be very pure. A person should, another way, take a pitcher, what we might call a lota, and sprinkle water in all the directions in the heavenly regions, so that no harm could come to a person whilst they are going to make Tarpan offerings, offerings of the dhar, all these things. In this way, the person is also taking a bath. In that water, in the lota, let them put perfume, let them put all the sweet scented oils, let them put the paste of sandalwood and mix it into the water, so that when the swasti mantras and other mantras, protection, kavach mantras are being chanted, the person who is about to pray, purified of all sins or anything that could bring ruin or downfall, those things must go. Do you see that? Yes, you do. When your pandit comes home by you and you see yourself standing, Baba just told you to say your prayers, we are about to start, you're standing here. And what does he do? He holds the kush grass ladle and he is sprinkling to purify and protect the place and yourself. That you must be able to get through with your puja by being purified of the sins. Because sins brew punishment. Because of your sin, bad things happen to you. We want to get off of this sin. This is why we are talking about these things. And these are just little tidbits that I'm throwing out to you so that you can have a greater appreciation of why we do certain things. He says when the person clasps their hand, sometimes the hardest thing to do is to get the person to put their hand together when they are doing prayer. The poor pandit is chanting all the different mantras. And this becomes this under the belly. When you have a big belly like mine, like you just have to hold it up. So most people, you see them here, all this kind of crazy posture. But when the person is taught how to place their hands, like when you're receiving your panchamrit, when you're doing different type of mudra, depending on your prayer, and you know how to place your hand, when you're doing it, the prayer process becomes better because this is one gesture that gives a certain amount of sacrifice and the person gets blessings for it. So when this sprinkling has to happen, the person should at least minimum shortcut, put your hands together and place it by your chest and pray so that as the samhita mantras are being chanted, the person is showered by the grace of God to burn away the sins that we have accumulated by what? Our mouth, our thoughts, and our deeds, our hands, what we hit and rub and steal and all these things. Dear God, I wish to do my yagna, I wish to have wedding, I wish to have my funeral service. Please allow me to get through with this prayer very competently, very comfortably, without any type of trouble. Let us now hear about something called Mala Snan. Whenever your Baba says the word Snan, it means bath, bathe. Let's hear what this one is about. Jai Bhole Baba Tab Sharanam, Jai Bhole Baba Tab Sharanam, Jai Bhole Baba Tab Sharanam, Jai Samba Sada Shiva Tab Sharanam, Jai Samba Sada Shiva Tab Sharanam, Tina Kritamala Snana Vriddhi Snan Samchariyati Ishana Purusha Doragya Kajate Sanvyaditam Jai Bhole Baba Tav Sharanam, Jai Bhole Baba Tav Sharanam, Jai Bhole Baba Tav Sharanam, Jai Samba Sada Shiva Tav Sharanam, Jai Samba Sada Shiva Tav Sharanam, Jai Samba Sada Shiva Tav Sharanam. Umapati Mahadeva ki Jai. Mala Snan is what we have just described, where a person is taking bath with clay, dirt, or basma. In Trinidad, we don't too often bathe with the mud in the riverbed. How many people have bath there? But we do use basma. So for example, if my shishya, if my chela come and says, Baba, there are problems in our property. We have property where we are seeing things on the wall, different type of problems you could imagine, especially if this applies to you. What could we do? And in preparing that place, because many people don't understand this, do you think that there is one super yantra that will solve all the problems? And sometimes it doesn't work like that. And then what I'm trying to explain here to you is that when we are going to do something, we have to know how to clean the place. When certain mantras are chanted, one example is the Samhita mantras. When these are chanted and burnt with different type of wood that do what? They give you white smoke. You bring it down to ashes, and then you take that and you can have bath on your body before I put on my yantra or tabich, my guards. Whether my guard be like for a pregnant girl, that would be tied under her belly, but the underwear line might be to keep what is in the belly inside. When you have different type of gra, you wear that here around your neck. When you have different type of problems, you wear that on your right arm. Here, this way it's tied here. But the first step is mala snan, where you take the basma and you bathe. That happens sometimes. You will see that when, like if I'm usually doing a yagya or shivratri brat, when it is done, you take the havan ashes a little bit, make into chandan, and you'll put it on different parts of your body to clean your body of different problems. He says another way that you can do cleansing, taking bath, snan, before you do your obligations, do vidhi snan. Vidhi snan is when you are offering to the devtas. Om tat purushaya aghoraya ghuyaka aja shankaraya. You call them and then you touch the water in the lota and you touch different parts of your body. We touched on this last night. In this way, calling the devtas that sit on your body, identifying those places, you are going to purify those organs. If a person should, whilst doing breath, a person touches the opposite sex, animals that drop hair, like let's say a kitten, mouse that lives on the refuge causing disease, etc. A person who is drinking, you're fasting, you're not supposed to, I don't know if you know this, you're not supposed to drink the jutta of other people when you're fasting for prayer, when you're going to do Shivratri and so on. The germs is the issue. When you learn about, for example, when in Gita he talks about tamasic food, when he talks about food and he says tamasic food is spoiled food, contaminated food, germ-ridden, bacteria-riddled type food. This is why when you are doing prayer, when you are fasting, we eat fresh food, healthy food, sattvic food, sanitized food, the pot wash, everything. The person washes their hands before they begin to cook, etc. As you try to maintain that purity inside. But should you deviate from it, then you do something called Agnayak Snan. For this purification, the person stands up. Whenever you see people doing hands like this, or it may come in this way, but whenever you see Vindravan Bihari Lal Ki Jai, this posture entails, although there is no wetting, the person standing up with uplifted arms, with the face turned towards the east. You must be facing east. So most times when you go to temple or we go in places of worship, the audience is usually facing east. So when you stand up and everybody lift your hands to the air and you think about God and you pray like that, what you are actually doing is, if I have made any type of sin, if I have contaminated my body and it is affecting the purity and the outcome of my prayer, then may you please purify me. It is similar to the purification that other times, like what we talk about Mala Snan, the mantras type of Snan, the Vidhi Snan, etc. In this way, it is what is purifying you? The rays of the sun, or if you happen to be doing that type of breath where you are outside, let's say we are doing preparatory worship by the river, by the sea, or something where you're outside, and rain happens to fall. And as the rain is falling, what is supposed to happen, especially when it now starts to drizzle, you're supposed to raise your hand like this to simulate that purity. Another way, ablutions that are given after Mahindra Snan. Mahindra Snan is where a person is walking 7 steps in the midst of where gobar is smeared, so that, or where cows are kept, so that the particles that are coming off the gobar as it is drying will purify them, and or the hoofs of the cattle as it is being moved with the mantras that are being chanted purifies the person. Have you ever seen this? Mahindra Snana. Did I ever see this? Have you ever gone to a wedding and heard about something called Saptapadi or 7 steps? Think about it. And I want you to ask yourself, you get married, you had children married. What are you doing that for? If just to remind everybody, in the Saptapadi, and in India, that is the section, that is the step that makes the wedding complete. Not walking around the fire, not the ring, not the chain, not nothing. The Saptapadi is the binding step. And this is why, when the two people are coming together, the boy in particular gets a sin because of the pain that he's going to cause the girl. While the girl is in the father's house, she is free, happy, carefree, careless. And now she is going to have to be trusted now. It's so much work. Change your name, change your address. Children coming, pain coming, trouble coming, argument coming. So the boy does Vijaya Home or Vijaya Havan. And when they are going now to do the Saptapadi, by making the 7 steps together, as the relevant mantras are going to be chanted, the person is going to become purified. But the Saptapadi, please remember, for all my nows out there, for everybody who's preparing people's babies, please remember this is another testament that shows the importance of smearing the gobar on the baby. Without the gobar, the Saptapadi, which is the main rite in any Viva Sanskar or the wedding ceremony, it is incomplete. Therefore, please make sure, and this is one of the reasons why on the kalsa, which is within the wind, think about it, the kalsa, the puwa, she is fixing the kalsa so that the gobar particles will be blown in that direction, because they will be right there. The kalsa is like this, and they will be walking in that direction so that the particles hit them. And this particle language is the language of the books. So great is our religion, our dharma, that this, before there was a microscope, they knew about it. Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. When a person does purification, so we've done a lot on the outside. What about the inside, Baba? Using mantras, such as Guru Mantra is a good example, to regulate and to burn away the sins. Another way is pranayama, where you are regulating, following the rules, the postures, the in and out in a timing, in a format, how to hold, when to let go, using the diaphragm as the mechanism to and to get everything out of you. That is another way of purifying. Snana, internally, with water, I guess you can't wash the inside of your lung. That internal organ that could become sickly. So somebody says, what is the real benefit of this thing called pranayama? What is the purpose of this mudra? What is the purpose of, I want to get married, I only want to do this Sunday. I don't want to have to bathe on the Sunday morning. I would just want to dress up and go and get married. And this is why when people don't know the value of these things, you are seeing people doing prayers, but they are becoming sickly. Many people the marriages are falling apart. They don't know the value of what we are doing. So tonight, please listen again. By mentally making, for the person who is bedridden, the person who, maybe you have COVID, the person who makes offerings, ablutions, after thinking of Lord Vishnu. Manas pray, I am making the offering on the, let's say, the Murti. But before I do it, I want to Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, and I see Lord Vishnu playing, washing my hair, helping me, for children to understand. I cannot get up, I cannot find myself, because there are many people. Tonight, as I am doing this, I remember my uncle Sagar, who is in Spain right now, and he has contracted corona. And uncle, I pray with you, my prayers with you, as everybody who has this vicious disease, and as the variants are spreading. Last night I spoke about Ontario and different regions in Canada and what they are going through. Here is a method. If I am bedridden and I cannot move, I do not have the breath, I'm on a ventilator, so I cannot even do pranayama. A person says, if you practice pranayama when you get old, you can do that on the bed. Yes, if you can breathe on your own. So to clarify that point, that is a little harsh, because some people need assistance to breathe. So you have to learn how to train your body. Yes, when health is there, I can stretch, I can twist, I can turn. Last time we talked about the Siddha Asana or Siddha Asana. We talk about Sukh Asana and all these different bending and put the foot so. But Babs, when the old age come in and I can't do it no more, then we must find other ways to achieve that cleanliness and that betterment. In this last way, he talks about you think of Lord Vishnu first, and in your mind, you prepare your body, and then do Manas Puja. Now, listen to the various forms of sandhya. After doing the bath, the cleaning, it is now time to get ready to do the worship of Mother. Before we close off this section, we're going to finish here quickly as time is running away. The various parts in the day, the timing as I had mentioned last night, where we are going to do different offerings for different purpose. The first thing the person does, they start by touching by purifying the different openings of their body, the 9 openings, all of them. This rite of performing this type of purity, Shakali Karna, is the cleansing of the dirtiest portions of your body. Pranayam is regulating, and via that respiratory regulation, purifying the internal parts of yourself. In this way, the person follows what we were talking about, the diyas rites, touching the water, touching the parts of your body. And in the morning time, that mother is referred to as Brahmi. In this way, you can imagine a goddess that is of red complexion, seated on a swan, possessing 4 faces, equal number of hands, carrying garlands in her right hand, different weapons or sticks. The sannyasi is dand in the left hand, the kamandal in the other upper left hand, and our flowers in the upper right hand. The midday sandhya is to be contemplated as a white woman mounted on a celestial bird called Garud, possessing 4 hands, carrying a shank, chakra, and in her left, 2 left hands, mace in one, and in the other hand, she has the gesture of the Abhya Mudra, which is blessing, giving the sense of encouragement. When persons do chant at that midday sandhya, which is 12 o'clock in the day, when a person has different types of phobia, when a person has different types of fear complex, I am afraid of the husband, I am afraid my wife will cheat on me, leave me, I am afraid the children will forsake me, I am afraid I will lose my job, I am afraid I am going to die because of coronavirus, so I am throwing out hints for you. The person worships at that 12 o'clock hour, and these types of fear are moved, not only falsely moved, but the person is able to overcome the fear. Meaning to say, another example of this is why, and I've spoken about it at length in previous satsang, and I don't want to rehash that, but just to mention it, the fasting from salt is for the same reason as is here. The image of sandhya that is worshipped in the evening, she is referred to as Raudri Sandhya. This is pictured as a woman sitting on a lotus flower placed on a bowl. So that sounds strange, but watch me here. Flowers sitting, if you could only see here, and you may not be able to see, but if you look at your Surya Murti at home, you will see 4 elephants, the 4 cardinal points, the different devatas that hold up the earth in its orbit, holding it in place. In Hinduism, we have 4 devatas that guard those things. Likewise, sitting on a bull, imagine there's a flower between the bull and herself, carrying in her 2 hands a trident and a rosary, a spear in the other hand, and in the lower left hand, there again she's blessing. She's represented as having 3 eyes, bedecked with the moon in her forehead. Oh, Skanda, Sandhya is the witness of all the acts of men, and the soul follows her. And for this reason, the person who worships sandhya is given forgiveness. The 4th form of sandhya is that which is contemplated by the wise and taught to be only in the night, dark night, like now. Now is the time you could worship that form. And you would see pundits doing this type of worship when they are jagawing their mantras and they are awakening the siddhi of their praise, like what we might give people in their God, doing different type of yagna, guiding somebody for Shivratri, teaching them a mantra. If I am a stranger to the prayer, how could I teach you the prayer? Because I've seen it in a book. It has to be awakened, and with a charged source, give it in a charged way. Then the person is able to go and get blessing. Imagine, just to build the idea, just to build the thought. It is my diya. This is my diya. No light, no energy, nothing. But take arati from this diya. You take arati from this diya, and you are going to get blessings from my empty diya. That does not make sense. And in our text, it talks about that. So for these reasons, Pandits, at different times, as I am describing here to you, I'm giving you the secret so you can do it too. If you need help, just ask me and I'll try my best to make the time to go through your problem, your scenario, and then guide you accordingly. Parama Sandhya is that which is done. It is invisible, situated in your heart, in your body, in 4 places. Your heart, your upper end of the nostril, so usually that is your nasal cavity, the nasal or the sinus cavity, the 4th ventricle or the 4th region of the brain, the heart, the upper nose sinus, and the brain, and the circulation system that is running. The nerves is what it really refers to, the nerves. In this way, the person, whilst doing this way, this is where we touch the root of the fingers when we are doing the different jap as offerings are being made. And the person is able to get great amount of siddhi, blessing, overcoming problems, etc. Marjana is where the person is taking water from the left hand, dropping it in the right hand and sprinkling to purify the place around them. In order to do this, the person touches the water to their body, and then anga sparsh, touching different types, different places in their body. The nose, touching the water like this from the left hand, and the ears, the eyes, the nose, the head, different places. Anga sparsh. We talked last night about the hriday sparsh in the wedding ceremony, when the husband puts his hand on the girl's chest like this in this region to gain blessings. Many people don't understand the purpose of it. He says here, when this anga sparsh is done, it is as if a person is taking white clothes that has become very black, and they are beating it against a stone slab, using the mantra to wash away the filth from their body. And in doing so, this is the anga smarsh procedure. Then the person can take a bunch of kush grass, flowers, pinch of rice, and these things are mixed together in water to offer arg. This is what we were talking about last night, what we call dhar. Chanting together with this, Gayatri Jap. Then a person should offer Tarpan. Tarpan is that watery offering that is given to the devatas, to the munis, to the pitras, using different type of mantras that are listed here. Then a person is going to be purified of pitradoshan, different type of blocks in their life because of obligations that they have not fulfilled to ancestors. You are trying to free yourself of the debts. Imagine when you lift, according to Garbran, when you lift the coffin of your mother, you are saying, Ma, I wish to repay you for the milk you have given to me. So by doing this type of tarpan on a day like today, I am repaying all that I owe. Niyas is when he using Om Hrang Hridaya Nama, touch the water, touch your heart. Om Hring Shidasaya Nama, touch your head. And in this way, it also says Om Hrum Sikhaya Nama. Sikhaya means the crown. Or if you have the turkey here, touch that area. And in doing so, different regions of your body are going to be purified. The person is then encouraged to continue doing offerings. In this way, these ceremonies that are described, the ceremony having performed with the fingers of the right hand where the left hand is going to be touching the elbow of the right hand. If you never knew where this originated from, the touching of the hand, hey, make sure and touch your hand now. Touch your hand now. Make sure you're offering, touch your hand. Please remember to touch your hand. The reason is, this is one posture, as we have been talking over and over, different ways that a person positions the self to gain the purification and the blessing when different types of offerings of puja are being done. We've spoken about diyas, we've spoken about Tarpan, we've spoken about different snan, different types of offering, Tarpan offerings, etc. In this way, the person should prepare themselves to do puja. Jai Bhole Baba Tav Sharanam, Jai Bhole Baba Tav Sharanam. Just pass right here. Just pass right here. Jai Bhole Baba Tav Sharanam, Jai Samba Sada Shiva Tav Sharanam. Om Hansa Shana Pitra Swadha Dakshina Dhyata Pitra Mahe Shanti Priya Pita Maha Tatapar Preta Pita Pitra Ye Swadha Pitrabhya Pitra Mahabhya Swadhaye Prapitra Maha. You have wherein you have different moments coming up. So before these great moments, we do Pitri Shanti Puja, we do Shraddha, so that the obligation, the problems that these ancestors might be facing, the difficulties, we don't want that. We don't want their tears to block our way. We don't want that sin. Therefore, when we are happy and we are having moments where we are asking for betterment, let's say 2021 is new, and we had such a horrible year last year, we want a new year, we want a better year this year. Well, how you give in terms of your time, your prayer, your energy, your effort, is so you're going to get. So, put your hands together and you offer your Tarpan and you say, Dear Lord Krishna and Lord Vishnu, please accept this Tarpan and allow my father, my mother, those who have died, to please let them be happy. And when they are happy, I am going to be happy. Just to explain how Pitra Puja works, I give Tarpan to Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu, Suraj Narayan Swami. And God says, your son, dear one, you who have passed away, your son, your daughter, whosoever, has offered this for you. May you be so blessed. When the ancestor gets the blessing now, oh, out of my whole generation, out of all my children, out of all my family, look, this one child has remembered me. Oh, may he, may she be always blessed. May they always have. May they always be with. This is why we do the Tarpan offerings correlated to this time. Principle of Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. Let us do the conversation. Let us do the conversation with the beading. With the till. It's time to answer my nephew's question. Before I continue, before I start in the second part of Agni Purana, please remember, leave me your comments. I know some of you will be watching this on the repeat because we started a little late, and then I did not do an invitation or make any announcement of the Yagna, so I apologize for that. But if you happen to watch it after the fact of your Makar Sankranti, at least you got to hear the benefit. You'll prepare, don't worry, it'll come again. Let's join together as we enter into this very interesting part where it talks about why do we do some of the prayer. And when you listen to the solution to the problem, you will find that there are similarities with what we do when we do on chain, when we do certain things for the wedding. Let's hear where we're going. But the question is, why did I have to scrub my skin marble with the till, as my nephew asked me this morning when I started to look for this? Jai Bhole Baba Tab Sharanam, Jai Bole Baba Tab Sharanam, Jai Bole Baba Tab Sharanam, Jai Samba Sada Shiva Tab Sharanam, Vinayaka Kopa Shrishta, Snana Sarva Karha Vire, Vinayaka Karmayetam, Vinayaka Yogni Ati, Jai Bole Baba Tav Sharanam, Jai Bole Baba Tav Sharanam, Jai Bole Baba Tav Sharanam, Jai Samba Sada Shiva Tav Sharanam, Jai Samba Sada Shiva Tav Sharanam. Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. One of the reasons these purification rites has to be done. Pushkar now is talking, a different Muni. Pushkar. One of the reasons that this different type of snan, different type of bath has to be done, as is now being questioned in chapter 266 of Agni Purana again. He says it is to overcome a Devi called Vinayaki. This Devi is considered to be part of the Saptamatrika by a different name. It is correlated, it looks as if it's Ganesh Baba, but in a female form. Elephant head, human body, but a female form. So I'll read the history. It is found in, I believe, Skand Puran. I'll read that history for you another day, but go with me on this. Vinayaki is an incarnation of Lakshmi Mata when she got a shrap. So she becomes this form. In some parts of India, they refer to her as a malignant spirit, bad. But the truth is, these matrika, the reason why we worship them, and you will see is Sodas matrika, puja being done like when you have the bandara. Sodas matrika means 16 mothers. Sapta matrika means 7 mothers. And these ladies are there, and they are forms of mother, where mother in Devi Bhagavat, she is speaking to Vashish Muni, and Vashish Muni prays that, Mother, may you please bless me, that if my devotion ever drops, pull me up, bring back my devotion. And she says, no problem, I'm going to take 16 forms that will cause you havoc, pain. So Vashish Muni, think if it was you. Vashish Muni says, I didn't pray for that. Why are you giving me pain? She says, son, if some people don't have pain, if some people don't have trouble, they will never pray. How do you expect your devotion to go back up if you don't have discomfort? So I am your mother, and I am going to take 16 forms that are going to cause you trouble. And when that trouble comes, it will instinctively trigger you to raise your devotion. Time to pray again. So one example, before we continue, one example of this. Shashti Devi, the wife of Kartikeya, the son of Lord Shiva, his wife is Shashti Mata. Shashti Devi is one of the matrika. If she is happy with you, children come in. Healthy children, long living, they outlive the parent. Shashti Mata is not happy. Miscarriage, stillbirth, birth defect, mental disorders, troubles with children, falling out with children, damage to children, death of children. So it shows where Durga Mata becomes the true parent of her children. Think of your mother. Your mother was the most loving lady on birthday day. She's cutting cake and feeding you. She's proud of you on the day you did well in your test. And the day you didn't do good, the day you did some rachafi or some wrong, that same lady cut your tail the most. Same mother. And likewise, Durga Mata is the person who gives out good, and she is the person who delegates punishment in these forms called matrika. So another form is this Vinayaki. And as I've explained, she is an incarnation or a form of Lakshmi Mata when she got a shrap. And I'll do that discourse another day. Keshava, a form of Lord Krishna, gives her a shrap that you are going to be bound to the head region. this region like a band of the Yagnas, those people that are coming close, those souls that wish to serve me. May you go and sit on their head and cause them to become baffled, to become frustrated in their efforts, in their prayers. Why? As we wish to test them, to see when things don't go their way in the timing that they want it. May you cause that type of test to cause their downfall until such time they are able to withstand and withdraw themselves from those types of thoughts, and then they are ready to come to me. Think about it. The person starts to pray and then you become lazy. The person wants to pray and then they start to miss the meat or the liquor, for the alcoholic in particular. The drugs, they start to pull on a person. We go to do 10 days fasting. Your mother died when the day for the funeral. Cry, throw down yourself, rolling in drain and everything. 2 days later, Baba, I could eat a little sardine. Baba, my wife watching the Vex, boy. Where you say I could spend the night in the bedroom tonight. The mind is a powerful thing. And mother, may you remain with them. And if the person does not do anything to overcome your effect, may you allow them to be the downfall of themselves. Let me say it again. If they don't do anything to overcome you, their Vinayaki, then allow them, that person, to be their own downfall. Let the person dwindle in their efforts and give up. Break them, test them, and if they fail the test, they will come again and do it again. But if the person is able to be triumphant, then they will attain me, Sri Hari Vishnu. Parashar says, please listen. If a person that is being affected by Vinayaki and they don't know how to deal with it, what does it look like? Please listen. If a person happens to be an unmarried girl, for example, this girl that is being influenced by this form, she will discard all offers of marriage. She's picky. That guy is good. Boy is the same thing. That girl is good. This one too tall. She too fat. She too ugly. She too dark. She too fair. She too educated. She too rich. She too poor. And nobody is good. I'm sure you've heard that somebody said, the woman for you ain't born yet. The man for you ain't born yet. They prefer to remain single. On the contrary now, a married woman that is overpowered by this Vinayaki form, she refuses the bed of the husband, lives in a celibate way, starving the family of children, separate to the end of her life if you give her root. She is running from her own husband and it causes trouble in their marriage. And when we reach the court, when we reach in front of the pundit, why are you doing this for? I don't know. I never know. But you're doing it. It is as if you are not in control of your decision making. And this form, this Devi is very potent, very powerful. A disciple, a student, under similar circumstances, under similar influence in that area of the brain, becomes averse to his studies, refuses the lessons of the preceptor or the teacher, whether you're talking about Guruji in prayers or the school teacher. The same child that want to have the best job. Now follow me. For the children looking on, mommy want me to make she proud. Okay, well, make she proud. I want to have a Lamborghini to drive, so I must get a good job, make the world of money. Okay, well, do your work and you'll get what you want. But then the school work, the exam work, no, they don't even matter. Some of them, the problem with parents calling me and saying they don't want to bathe, they don't want to get up. Just how they roll off the bed, they want to go in front of the computer, don't put on the camera. The teacher want to put on the camera too. And that hard. To go and listen and watch hard. But did you forget the Lamborghini you wanted? Or you wanted to make mommy proud? What about that? How come the same brain that says these things, the same person is now so lazy? The person is so lost that they cannot function. They don't want to do it. This is how a student becomes when this form is becoming like this. The same predicament if a businessman with this type of influence, he will make decisions that will cause him to forgo all profits. So, a married man has a business and he will put himself with one of his subordinates, the workers. And when trouble comes, he has to pay lawyer, he has to pay settlement, he has to spend money now. Because of the bad name, the embarrassment. The lady can't take the embarrassment, she divorces him. And now he has to spend a different set of money in the court, in settlement. Half of all his assets go. It is as if the businessman is making crazy decisions. Those decisions that never benefit the business. The person becomes lazy. The person doesn't want to open their business. They don't want to work. They become greedy. It is as if they are stealing from their own self. I would take out $200 from the cash register drawer and I would tell nobody. But when it busts, bro, it's your business. Imagine a child that is supposed to help the parents build their business. And the child goes in the parlor, in the business, let's say a parlor, and he eating out the whole parlor. He giving away all the assets of the business. He sharing for friends, and you would wonder, why is this child mine? Why is this person's mine? Why is my husband so blinded that as a businessman you're not thinking like a business person? Then Vinayaki is at play. The planter, the gardener, the cultivator, he becomes dokida about his vocation. Will he go in the garden? The father, the mother has to quarrel with the child to go in the garden. You're glad when the tomatoes cook in the pot, but to go and pick or water or the weed, no, don't do it. Don't do it. The politician, the monarch, neglects the duty of his people. So the people now become hurt, harmed. We're seeing it in the States. The same person that ran to rule the country with pride and coming in, every new person that comes into our election, they come in as a solution. And I'm not talking about stealing no election. I'm talking about COVID. Where was your mind to say wear a mask? In the American example, and there are many examples throughout the world where people are studying the economy only and they're not studying the people. And this is just one example. One example. There are many examples of this, where the politician becomes as if he has forgotten his role to care and nurture the people. Sometimes make the tough decisions for the benefit of the people. But you went there to do the people's business, and now you are busy doing your own. How could a person become so forgetful? It is when this form is there. So now, what does he say? How do you fix this? Put the person sitting in front of a bedi where puja has been done, one of which must be Ganesh Baba Puja. Vinayak Puja must be done. This Ganesh Puja could be depending on the nature of the person. If it is a person with rage problem, temper problem, if it is domestic violence, and the person wants to make remedial work, he wants to do betterment. Do Sindura Ganapati Puja where the Ganesh is totally red like these flowers here, red like my kurta. And after that you put the person to sit in front. When the nakshatra is Hasta or Push, where the Chandrama or the moon related to Vishnu worship is passing through, or on the day when the sun is passing from one to the other zodiac sign, that is today, a Sankranti day. This type of positioning, Ashwok, is the place where you're going to take the person now and rub their body with cake, or in your handfuls, like imagine pindana, they make a bowl and they rub with white mustard seed and ghee, or you take till and you scrub the body, and in doing so this Devi is going to start a Shanti. Another way to do it, when people are Mangalik, some parts they will take the the old ant hill where it have no ants, not with ants, the mud that they process. They take up some of that mud with river water and they scrub the person. Some people will take a form of gogol called rochana, mixed together with sandal paste and scrub the body depending on the problems that they're facing. And in this way they rub over their head, and then they're going to use mantras to wash the body, wash the person. And may the evil fate that sticks to your hair, the mantras, the evil fate that sticks to your hair, the evil luck or bad luck that hangs over your eyebrows, your eyesight, your tongue, that everything you say, people hate you for it. Everything they say, people hate you for it. They dislike what you do. Where you go, people do not like you. Now join the staff and everybody done against you. This is one way of dealing with that. In this way, the person is passed with different type of grass. One example, kush grass. An example of this is when you have the girl now having the baby, and 6 months and 6 days and 12 days, is being done, and they use different type of grass and water to scrub her skin and bathe her. And from that, even a little bit of that liquid is given to the child. Just a little bit. Just touch your finger and put it on the child. Mustard oil is used to pour on the head of the person for this possessed. The word it is using, possessed individual. So sometimes I would use this if a person is literally being possessed by a spirit form, with this type of prayer, the location, the mantras, the different type of things that are being passed on the body. Where you see this is where, for example, you go to the wedding and you have the person sit, and the pundit is the first to put a little hardi on their forehead to guard from the effects of this Vinayaki. This mother might be tempted to influence you to change your mind for the wedding, to cause you to be unfaithful before the wedding, to cause you to do something nefarious. And for this reason, after they put the hardi, this is not the only reason, but this is one. They don't want you to go outside, they don't want you to mix with too much of people, keep away from people. But the pundit will put the tikka, and the little girls will come and they'll rub your body to massage this form, this possession, this negative off your body. And then it accumulates, it comes together when they are doing the bathing ceremony on the Sunday morning. When water, milk and other ingredients are running libations to Mita, Sanmita, Salak, Kanak, Kushmanda, and libations to Rajputra, different devatas, different ones are offered. Here in this section, it talks about something that we still see in the western regions of India, where they use fish as part of the offerings. That they make pinna with fish, the fish flesh, and they offer it on behalf of different devatas when rituals like Yagna is coming, wedding is coming, etc. Purification rites. To be honest, it is being done. But it also says here about boiled rice. So when you see like Parasram from Avocat, he is doing pinna where he takes the boiled rice mixed together with the plantain or the gumminess of the plantain, when it cools, helps it come together wonderful as a pinna. But the plantain is used also based on text as a replacer for blood. So when people have certain problems, these are the offerings. But when a person wants to use this method to get the outcome, because different people have different trouble, they use the fish. But I don't want to use fish. I don't eat fish. I don't know of it. So then you can use the plantain mixed together with the rice to get the type of blessing, purification, freedom from this type of trouble that this Vinayaki causes. Then a person should worship Vinayak Ganesh, and the same Matrika Puja is done where do grass, mustard seed, till is being offered to them. Prayer is being done. Mother, may you please grant me good luck, beauty, wealth, children, and my heart's desires. And the person who is able to do this and lights the diya, does final arati, offerings to Mother, that person is going to have happiness and their choices, blessings. Vrindavan Vihari Ki Jai. As time is running away, so we've talked about why taking the bath. The bath is that form, and what is one last point that I wanted to talk about. Last night I mentioned it. When I go to bow to my murti, I don't know how you bow. I touch here. One of the reasons we do this, the energy that is coming from the murti that is regularly worshipped, the diya light is there in front of the murti. The energy, the electrical energy is being pulled so that this Vinayaki does not affect or have influence on me and my decision making. The person must realize that I must make the right choices. In order to get the right things in life, I must do the work now. So in this way, when a person is very old and they're praying, oh God, somebody hand me a cup of water. In order for this cup of water to come, maybe I should get married, maybe I should have a family, maybe I should have grandchildren, whatever. I have to make the right decisions when I'm young. So when I'm older and I'm looking for this cup of water that support, here pa, look water, so that it could be there. I am saying this, I wanted to read this because I wanted to give parents a little insight. Not only parents, but for young people, married people. Could you imagine you get married to somebody and the person does not want to sleep with you, the person does not want to fulfill their role as a husband or a wife. The person is hurtful. Do you have any idea how many people call me and Baba, what to do? Baba, why are we going through this? Why are we like this? For no reason. Tonight, I want you to remember Vinayaki. That's Matrika. When you shanti her, you are going to see a change in the person's decision making. You're going to start to see change. It is possible. Vindravan Biharilala Jai. Tonight, let's talk a little bit again taken from Agni Purana. It talks about firstly here in this section, or the gift given of the light. The Muni says, which one is more important? Which one is more beneficial? Is it the ghee lamp or light, or is it the oil lamp? And he says that each diya that is used draws and permeates different type of particles, different type of energy, charged energy. The sattvic frequencies that come from the ghee light is generally more potent, and the oil light is more usually filled with a rajas type of particle, and it does not give you the potency of the ghee. For this reason, you will hear people doing havan with ghee, because it says anything that comes from the cow, it has a purifying effect. For that reason, you will notice when you are doing puja with Baba, most of the time they use a ghee diya to do that type of lighting. But when it's Diwali night, coconut oil right through. So this is the major reason for it. With this type of energy that is being emitted, for this reason, cow milk ghee is preferable to any other type of ghee, meaning plant-based ghee. The plant-based ghee is just a solid form of like a vegetable oil, basically. And when they check, based on our text in Agni is telling Parashar Muni that when the cow ghee is placed in front of the Devta, the Murti, etc., the energies that is flowing, what you are giving the Devta, the positive energy, this is what the Devta is going to give back to you. Maximum emissions come from the ghee. If a person cannot afford ghee, if a person, due to financial constraint, if a person cannot get ghee, sesame oil is a ghee that has a higher potency than coconut oil, or the worst type, vegetable oil. When a person does this, there are different things to consider. The type, let's talk about, just for your knowledge tonight, I have with me my diyas as I will show you. So, I have my wick, the straight wick, just a little long, but the straight wick. And then I have cotton, genuine cotton, not off a tree. I'll talk about this just now. The type of wick where you see it floating like this in the middle. Which one is better, Baba? I didn't know there's a difference. I honestly thought a light is a light. This one, the color of the energy that is coming out from these two flames, this one has a little more red-yellow color, where this one is more to yellow. For this reason, this has a higher frequency of sattvic energy leaving that light. Don't you all bow? Imagine this is an Acharya and I'm taking that positive sattvic energy and I want it to sit where on my head. Why don't take it and put it on the elbow? Although the elbow might be paining. One of the reasons, as we learned just now, Vinayaki is here. And I want that energy to flow and follow me, so that I must be purified of past sins that might cause this Vinayaki to give me trouble by my own behavior, choices, etc. But when I take from this, it is still a light. Yes, it is still a light. But what is the difference? This form of diya, where in this pulled up type of wick is being lit. We are not talking about the oil yet. This draws the energy of Prithvi Tattva, or the earth, the water Tattva, or element. Tattva mean element, or the Vayu Tattva. And these, if a person should use it, because they are not as strong. This, for example, will burn out quicker than this. This remains. This is calm. This is a type of energy that is called Tej Tattva, or the fire element. And when you compare the two elements that sit here, the water and the earth, and the shame in comparison to the energy or the potency of the Tej Tattva. For this, the person who lights this diya, what is going to happen? The prayer will be done. Please listen. The prayer will be done. And the person is going to leave the prayer with heaviness. The body is going to feel, all right, so did I just go to prayers? May I feel nothing. And then the person goes by this diya. At a minimum, they do arati with it, whatever it be, depending on what role you play. And this one yields a higher grade of mental happiness, cheerfulness, etc. Again, I'm basing this on Agni Purana. Vrindavan Bihari Ki Jai. So I want to say it very clear. This is better than a floating wick. This is better than a pull-up type wick with cotton, whatever you do. Depending on what you have, you use what you have. But bear in mind, how you offer is so you're going to get. If nobody never explained this to you, please remember it tonight. Please understand that when you light that diya, what impact it's going to make. Lighting the diya can change your life by bringing that Lakshmi into your home. Some things for you to consider. When you're lighting a diya, you say your prayer at the moment you're going to touch the flame to invoke that mother. And by calling her, and it is said by regularly lighting your lamp, lighting your diya, it removes the darkness, the heaviness from your home. Vastu problems and evil forces cannot be there. Lighting a diya in your puja area, in your prayer area where your murtis are, just as we have here, brings a certain amount of prosperity, knowledge, wisdom. For this, if you've ever noticed, like in India, when I was with Shivanand in Baroda, Shivanand Maharaj, when we went to start our lecture, the first thing we did was, they wouldn't use that for this purpose, they would use this one. And the first thing you see, all politicians, they're going to open a building, they're going to do what? They scratch their mats and they light the diya to call mother here. Mother, may you be here. Now we can do whatever we have to do. For this reason, they call upon her in that way. And the symbolism of lighting that diya, that invitation, makes the place open. When God arrives, the business can be conducted. Then, according to Agni Purana again, what is arati? Arati is a circular motion, not necessarily this, circular motion in a clockwise manner in front of a pitya, a devta, or the guru, a parent. And this arati is where you are purifying the air that is around the person by ridding of negative or tamasic particles that may be around them. 1 and 2, you are offering the energy, the heat, the light associated with the diya to the murti, to the devta in particular. When doing these type of arti, Lakshmi karo, or you might say Shoham karoti kalyana margo yamda dhyan sampranaha Shru buddhi vinashaya deepa jyotir namostute deepa jyotir parabrahm deepa jyotir janardana deepa me haratu papam deepa jyotir namostute. At a minimum, as I offer this light, may you remove my sins. I bow to you. Lighting a diya can bring about a lot of change. Now again, my nephew asked the question. I'm doing this part of our discourses. My nephew asked me, why do I have to light my dear Mamu? And this is what I'm touching on tonight, because many people don't know about what I'm going to talk about now. Lighting a diya using different type of wick can change your luck without plenty effort. Lighting a diya with different type of, let's say, liquid, oil, whatever, will bring about a different type of luck. And you're going to hear about it now. Before we go forward, have you ever heard of when people are doing Shani Brat or Shani Shanti Puja, they are lighting diyas with mustard oil in front of Hanumanji? If I go to do different type of, what do you call it? I think when you're doing the people tree puja, don't we use ghee under the diya? Could somebody remind me? Have you ever done people tree puja where you're doing Krishna puja, or the ladies are praying to get married and they tie the strings around the tree and they offer ghee diyas under the people tree? Could somebody leave me a message, please? Please comment. First one. If a person wishes to overcome Pitra dosh, ancestral curses, when great-grandfather used to offer blood and he stopped offering blood, and the father and the grandson and the great-grandson are paying for it. This is just one remedial work. Take the fiber of the fig tree, you strip it and you let it dry good, and you roll it and you make a wick using the fig plant, the dry husks of the stem. And when the person uses this in the puja to light, forgiveness, generally mistakes made unknowingly, mistakes made by other members of the family causing the ancestral curse, these things can dissipate. So when people have Yagna, when people are doing, for example, Shivratri is coming up, and you have the blessing to get this type of guidance, and they are sitting to do Havan or whatever job, and they have this diya with this fig leaf burning, you are going to see change, health, etc. If a person takes cotton, or the cotton I am talking about, if you look inside of this type of cotton, which comes from tree, you will find that it still has the cotton seed. This is the version of the variety where it has a small cotton seed. There is one where it gets big like this. You get the genuine cotton like this, not the store-bought one like what I have here. Deer wick rolled like this with genuine cotton. This brings good fortune when you offer it in prayer. Rose water wick is the next one. How do you do it? Take a strip of white cloth, roll it together, dip it in rose water, and then allow it to sunbathe to dry. And then you use that again as a straight wick in your diya, and then you invoke it in your puja. And what does it bring? The person who does this on a regular basis, you will not only bring Lakshmi back to your home, but you will see major differences in the peace in your life. A lot of people who do this are on the verge of divorce. They're trying to keep a partnership in a business sense. What could I do? This is something that is done to help maintain peace in that organization. A lot of temples do this when they're running the risk of everybody, going haywire and breaking up family members, etc. Another example, if you are suffering from any type of problem in marriage, love life, cannot overcome grief of separation, divorce, or death, then the person should take yellow sari cloth, put it, roll it, put it as a wick and light it. And if there are problems between husband and wife, those problems are solved. Amicably, love comes back, the relationship is allowed to rekindle. If a person wants to remove all their past karma, in this life I was robbed of my eyesight, I could not speak, I have different ailments on my body, and I want to overcome that problem so I do not have to face that again. You see this when women cannot, Gerd Pran says, when your body is not ovulating, when the egg is not being made, it is because you have robbed. You see, when people take the eggs of animals and they do that, they love to do that, they do that a lot. In your next life, the person in that section, it describes the person is robbed of having the whether the male or the female, they're robbed of the eggs of their own body to have children. So if the person wants to overcome, in this example, this type of problem, and they are willing to establish a happy and prosperous life, you take the stem of the lotus flower, you take out the flower, and you allow it to dry a little bit. And when you crack open the stem, sitting in the middle, there's a little kind of powdery, imagine I just described this, sitting in the middle of the stem, and you would pull it out, and you start to roll it, to get something that looks similar to the cotton like this. It looks white, ready to put in there with oil and so on. And the person is able to come and do this. But this has to be done on a regular basis. In Guyana, in particular, my Guyanese devotees, please tell me, do they do this over there by you? A person, if you use yellow cotton cloth to light a diya, then the goddess Parvati, for the lady who is losing children, constant miscarriage, stillbirth, the child, for whatever reason, whatever disease or whatever it be, the child dies, doing Parvati Devi Puja would overcome that issue. When a person uses, now if you've never heard these things, this is an eye-opener, I'm sure, for many people, but think about it. If another one that is not given in Agni Purana, but I know we use it, when a person has a lot of obia, when a person has, the tamasic effects of people doing, I mean, let's be honest, people throw animal parts, they throw blood, they throw all types of things on people's place. Baba, how do I help myself? And I'm given this information tonight, but I'm saying it, it has to be done consistently, and it has to be done in the parameter of the right prayer, depending on what you are ailing from. So please, let's do it like an analogy, like the doctor. Don't be one of those people that go to a doctor, gets a tablet for your toe, a pain in your toe, and when they take the tablet, you're wondering, how come I have a pain in my ears and they're passing by? I'm taking this tablet, I'm taking it out. What tablet you taking? I'm taking the toenail tablet. Just as how there's a tablet suitable for the various ailments that are in your body, likewise, there's a procedure. And maybe that is my point tonight. Learn more about your worship, learn more about your prayer. And then when you follow the right procedure and the right method, then you're going to get the right results. So I want you to consider yourself in a moment when maybe you was frustrated. I'm doing my prayers, I like the media, doing this, I'm doing that, and me I see no change, man. This man still beating me, still honing me, the children, whoever listen, who's sick. Could it be that there is a better way, a different way for me to light that deer? That's my point tonight. Tonight there's one more I want to raise before I go. The one for the obia, because I know some people are going to message me, Baba, you started to talk about it and you didn't mention it. Do you know the madar flowers? If you do, please send me a message, let me know. If you don't, I know the people from St. Petersburg that are looking on tonight from South Africa. We have a team there in a temple, and they are listening tonight, well, this morning by you. Those in South Africa that are looking on, I don't know if you have this plant. If you don't know what is madar flowers, please send me a message and I'll post up it here. When that flowers, not the flowers itself. Oh look, we have here from this morning puja. This flowers in particular, I had it here for a reason. Not the flower bunch, for those of you that know it. And this is purple, but the white as well. There is a time when the plant is ready to produce new spring, produce seeds for new offspring. And in the pod, it looks like a kind of trap. And when the stem starts to hit the pod, if you open that, you will see something like this. A fibrous white powder. You might need to get more than one. And you get it together and you roll it up. And now you light the diya. And you're saying prayers, but different prayers, mantras that are used to remove the effects of these type of things. Please don't think Om Shri Ganesha solves all your problems. There are more intricate mantras that I guess other pundits are willing to teach. But if you would only apply yourself, if you are willing to learn, if you are following this satsang and the other nights and everything that I'm trying to do, please send me a comment, send me something. I put, somebody said I didn't put the group link. I did put it. So now for everybody looking on, if you are looking on this on repeat, go to my Facebook, you will see the link, click on it and you will join with me. And you will be with me when I'm doing, I only do this now and then, the online satsang, but I'm on the group basically every day, every other day, sending information for you. He says, now listen, that if a person one day, and this is to, now so far we have basically knocked the idea of the flambeau. Arguably the cloth is fine, but the type of fuel that is used has no benefit. Gasoline, petrol, these things, whilst flammable, does not yield the positive energy, and because of the nature, how do you know it? The nature of the smoke. The smoke. For this reason, my nephew one day came and he says, I don't see coconut oil, I don't see mustard oil, because I use cooking oil, vegetable oil, sunflower seeds, and you'll hear about the different type of oil now. He says, if a person wants to use 1 wick, a different section here, 1 wick, that is fine. If you want to use 2 wick, that is fine. It represents the goddess Lakshmi and the goddess Saraswati. And up to the 3rd wick come together like this to show the correlation between Lakshmi, Saraswati and Durga. And as this is lit, it burns away and destroys evil, and evil people have to repel. If you ever go to a Shraddha, where you see this, you have the Shraddha, the Baba, the Shrota, and somewhere on this side you will see something called a diya that is placed on the side of the baby to run or rid any type of heaviness, any type of unclean, any type of unrested soul. That diya is there to protect. And this is why. So we have that. If a person uses pure ghee, it is considered to be the best thing to light or to be lit in diyas. It ensures prosperity, health and happiness. Because when the cow, in the discourse with cows and so on, anything, the cow gobar, the cow mutra or urine, the cow ghee, dahi, milk, these are the 5 panch gavya, these are the 5 purifying things that come from the cow. And for this reason, we use it in worship in different ways. Coconut oil. If you want to please Ganesh Baba, we use coconut oil for lighting the and for this reason, in the wedding ceremony, we use a lot of coconut oil. Like when they're sharing, when the girl, when they're sending from the boy to the girl, I can't remember which side send what now. Mommy Baba, who they send what? I can't see it, you have to see it. When they send in the dhan and the coconut oil on it.
Dhan, the coconut oil, the saffron.
Who does do that? Auntie looking on. This is a good question. Because I'm not involved in that part. Forgive me. Who does that? That's a really put like a trick question. Send me a message now. Let's see who remembers. Does the boy side send to the girl side, or does the girl side send to the boy side? Let me know. But on the day of the wedding, you will see when they go by the mothers, when they go by the car and they have their diya, it has coconut oil because Ganesh Puja is being done. when they are sending the oil, they only send coconut oil, not even ghee at that time. When we are doing the Ganesh Puja on the night of the Hardi, what we say saffron, and they are rubbing saffron, coconut oil, coconut oil, coconut oil, because Ganesh Baba is happy with it. Sesame seed oil. Regular use of sesame seed oil ensures the removal of obstacles, evil side effects that haunt you. When you feel everything you start is going to fail, when sometimes we are blessing businesses and so on, we use diyas with sesame seed oil. It gives a little trouble to start to light, but it eventually catches on. Sesame seed oil as well as mustard oil, both Shanti, Shani Devta. So when there is Shani, Mahadasa, Antardasa, Sed Sati period, when life becomes very difficult for a person, sesame seed oil, because of the sesame seed, is linked to Lord Vishnu, and the mustard seed oil, because of the ill effects that affect a person, you put mustard seed and you bathe with mustard seed, as we heard in a little bit. Now you burn mustard seed, the mustard oil, and you will be able to overcome that. The person who use neem leaf or neem oil, these diyas bring prosperity into a home. So sometimes when Baba, we are moving into the house and we have Pandit say, get neem oil. This is why, by burning this in the house for the first time, Griha Pravesh, Vastu Shanti, a person is able to make a house into a home. Especially if you are buying a home that is not newly built. Somebody was living there before. You are moving into an apartment, you're moving into where somebody else would have put or didn't put the metals into the post hole, etc. This is one way of overcoming that. Castor oil, diyas, ensure fame, happiness, and gives you a devotional mindset. In my experience, for people who perform on stages, actors, singers, etc., dancers, they use castor oil diyas, and they put it sometime on the edge of the stage where they have to perform, or they do their worship to the Murti with castor oil diya before they take to the stage. Panchadeepa oil is something. Everybody sit down. Oh God. Why do we fly the kite? Nandini Sobhi Gosine, the boy side said it. I thank you for that. Thank you for that. So Auntie Nandini is saying that the boy side sends to the girl side. I guess that's true, because they send you the sari and they bring all the different gifts on it. And one of the things that they send, and we try to get genuine coconut oil. And why? This is one of the oils that is used in Ganesh worship. Please remember that. Panchadeep oil is oil that is a mixture that is used in worship. Coconut oil, sesame seed oil, neem oil, maupa tree oil. I'll give you the scientific name so you know the tree. Ghee is mixed together, where we put 3 parts coconut oil, 2 parts sesame seed oil, 1 part neem oil because of the scent, 2 part maupa oil, and 2 part ghee oil. This is sometimes sold in puja stores. So if you go to a puja store and you see Panchadeepa oil, it is basically 5 diyas in one. 5. Why? And maybe when you understand this now, you will want to make this mixture for yourself at home. And you can. You just have to get it. And when a person offers a diya with this Panchadeepa oil, it keeps the home and all those that live there protected from evil spirit, illness, bad thoughts, argument. It ensures prosperity and all forms of wealth. The grains, the cupboards of that house is always brimming. The house is always filled with joy and laughter. Children grow healthy and very obedient. To my nephew, who I know he's watching, always leave out sunflower seed oil and any type of groundnut oil, vegetable oil included. This type of oil causes or creates debts, D-E-B-T-S, financial owing. You're always owing. You could never come out of the credit card debt or the mortgage debt, or you're owing this one and you're owing that one. But I lighted me Diana calling Lakshmi Mata, but it look like she don't like me. It's because the offering that you are giving is substandard. Imagine this is my dear. Just to make a point. This is my dear. Mommy, Baba, you have to show me the time and this watch not working. Just give me an idea how much time I have remaining.
9:15.
Okay, alright. So I have to cut off. Everybody, forgive me, I didn't, my clock really, he stopped working. So I thought it's still 8:30 for a little while now. So imagine this is my idea. My idea is very clean. And I'm offering Lakshmi Mata, please accept. And then I have a diya that has a piece of fresh inside of it. But I don't want to wash that. I want to offer Jai Vishnu. Do you think you'll get the same result? So the quality of your offering, the cleanliness, yes, keep washing your diya, please use clean diyas, etc. Don't go and take a diya that is used in a funeral and want to use it in a wedding, for example. It makes a difference. It is forbidden to use groundnut or sunflower oils in lamps or diyas that are offered because of the quality, the texture of the oil. And what it does, it yields a Lakshmi or financial ruin. It brings problems. So for this reason, we abstain from doing diya lighting with cooking oil, to use a lack of a better word. Important rules that once you follow, it starts to yield more and more benefit is the etiquette, the rules to follow when lighting a diya. Coming again from Agni Purana, please listen. When lighting the diya, do not rub the excess oil that might come in your hand in your hair. It will make you lose your wealth. Do not rub it on your clothing. This is not good. It brings about a certain lack of luster. It now becomes Rajas Puja because you are unclean. Keep a piece of cloth or napkin, paper towel in your prayer area and rub the extra oil or wasted oil or spilled oil with that. After touching, if any amount of this oil that is offered to your hair, if it happens to touch your hair, you should always wash that hair. You should always also wash your head before lighting diya. For some people, they don't like to wash their hair for whatever reason. Some people don't wash it every day, as you would be familiar with the regimen that ladies follow. But when you do this, you're not at your best. You're not as clean as you should be. And for this reason, it should not be done. Please remember that. Now, let us talk about the direction the diya light is facing. Have you ever realized which way the diya, when you're doing prayers? So, you are the devta. So, I put this on the kalsa and I let the diya come back to me. But when I go to the Shivratri, I see they face it to the lingam, facing northward. Let's hear. Lighting diyas in particular direction yield different type of blessing. For example, if a person should face the diya in the northern direction, in line with the lingam, a person is going to gain wealth and prosperity. One is blessed with the 8 forms of Lakshmi, Ashwarya, etc. Lakshmi, endowing her devotees with every luxury, every form of wealth and every form of happiness. Wow. If the diya happens to face east, so I am facing east doing puja, I wanted to go this way, to the Murti. Lighting diya to the east brings good health, peace of mind. Facing west, that is what we just normally do in puja, we face it back to us, meaning the positive energy. Think about the oil, think about the wick, the energy that is permeating, coming out of this diya. I wanted to hit my body. Lighting diya in the west makes you free from financial debts, ensures victory over all types of enemy. When you face diyas facing to the south, it is considered for you when you're doing your puja now. So if you're facing east, south will be this way, or you're facing the Baba in the prayers. This you will never see this. You will never see in puja, normal puja. When you're doing Yam Deep, I guess that's the exception to the rule. In the Yam Deep, this is where you put the diya facing southward, but in typical puja, you might see west, you might see east, you might see north, but you will not see south. The direction of where the lamp or the diya is showing, that has an effect. In this case, if it faces south, it brings bad luck. Vindravan Vihari Lala Ki Jai. So, I have to remember all the questions he gave me here. So, we've done with the Sandhya Vandanam, we did with the Vinayaki discourse. Somebody had sent me that picture, I don't know if it's Ramadas or somebody, but they told me, who is this form? So, you sometimes see her with 10 hands. You could Google it, you will see it. And Vinayaki, as I said, by different names, different regions of India, she is one of the matrika and she causes trouble. As we discussed, we've spoken about why we bathe with the till, why do we light the diya, and how to light the diya, how to do it. The last one, he asked me, he saw a lot of people messaging on WhatsApp and Facebook, a kite, happy Makar Sankranti, happy Pongal. What is the history of the kite? Today is actually the kite day. National International Kites Day is the 14th of January because of this Indian pastime. Kite flying comes from the Chinese, I believe. Somebody, if you want to comment on that. I believe it started off with the Chinese and it came to India and it propagated. But how does it become, and this is the point, how does it become part of a religious occasion? Now today on the group, and those of you who are not in the group, I invite you again, click on the link and you'll become part of the group. I came across a nice read where someone had said that sunlight generates, when it hits your body, it generates vitamin D. Now, if your children are sickly, doctors will tell you, pharmacists will tell you, give them vitamin C, give them vitamin D to ingest if they're not getting enough time outside. Now, when a lot of people were saying that sunlight is killing the COVID, people thought they were crazy. But the truth is, it would help your immune system, that vitamin D. In fact, without sufficient sunlight, a person could get sick. I'm sure everybody have heard of a baby that is born with a high level of bilirubin or jaundice or something, and the answer is walk the child in the sunlight next morning. Well, of course, that's jarring and all that. But the sunlight makes a difference. It helps the liver function. So, that sunlight, we want to worship this Surya time. This writer was saying, when you're leaving winter and you're entering into this different solace, you're leaving the winter time and you're coming into a bright sunny time, and we want the kids to go outside, so why not let the kite go to fly, let them go and fly this national kite flying competition throughout the world. People go India to fly kites today. Throughout the world people use that, but how does it become part of the religious practice? This practice of flying kites was there when Sri Ram did it, when he was a child in Balkan, Ramchurch, Manas. And it describes in some versions of it, I don't think it's in Jwala Prasad, I'm not sure in Jwala Prasad, but I know it's not there in Tulsidas, but debatable. I'll call my source, Pandit Rajan, teacher from Mahabala Senior Sec. Good night, Baba. Sri Ram was flying his kite, and it went up into the heavenly region. And the daughter-in-law of Indra, the son is Jayanta, and his wife saw the kite, and she holds on to it as per the discourse, and she does not want to let go of the kite. Sri Ram, kite gone. He says, Hanumanji, go and find my kite for me, please. Hanuman in baby form, these are children, goes to the heavenly region and he finds Jayanta's wife. I can't remember her name right now. And he says, I've come to collect that kite. She says, I want to know who it belongs to, because I am so interested to know who had the power to send a kite so high. Who is this person? He says, that is Sri Vishnu reincarnated in human form, Ramchandra. This is his kite. She says, but I wish to have darshan of the Lord, and then I will return the kite to him. So Hanumanji, just as I guess he did later in life with the Govardhan discourse, he says, Govardhan wants to serve you, Prabhu. And he says, in my next janam, he will serve me. This time, Hanumanji comes and he says, she has your kite, the wife of Jayanta, and she wants to have darshan. She wants to see you, to gain that positive energy by watching you, to get that blessing. And Sri Ram says to him, go and tell her, when I'm in Chitrakoot, when I'm in the forest, she will get to see me there. Do you remember the Jayanta discourse in Ramayana? Older readers, older scholars, when they were reading Ramayana long time, you've heard of a bird picking the foot of Sita Mata, and Sri Ram mounted an arrow and he let loose the arrow and it followed that bird throughout. That bird was Jayanta, the son of Indra. And when that melee was playing, the wife of Jayanta got to see Sri Ram. From that moment, Pavanaputra Hanuman ki Jai, Siyal Ramachandra ki jai. From that moment, people started to, because that happened on Makar Sankranti, people started to fly kite on Makar Sankranti day. And this is why. This is the correlation of the two. I hope tonight, as I come to the end, I know I went over, please forgive me. Please forgive me. I am over very bad. But I hope tonight's discourse has given to you a different insight into your Dharma. Let's chant a couple of verses of Gayatri as we conclude tonight. The Purusha Suktam associated with Gayatri worship. Please cast your hands as we do these couple of verses. Om Yat Purushena Vishya Deva Yagya Atanvata Vasanto Asidya Adyanam Grishma Idam Shradha Have Om Sapta Swayansam Paravidyata Tripta Saptya Samidaya Kritaha Deva Yad Yajmana Tanavahana Abhyanam Purusham Pausham Om Tat Yagya Brihasi Pauram Kshan Purusham Jata Agratam Tena Deva Ayanta Jata Sadhya Rishya Chaye Om Bhurabhuvasva Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhurabhuvasva Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Bhurabhuvasva Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Prem se bolo Shri Adi Shakti Mata ki Jai. Remember, when you're standing for prayer, never deviate from this. Until we teach each other how to do the different mudras, until you master this art, at least do this. When you're blessing somebody, please do this. When you are Jai Jaikar, Pavana Putra Hanumane ki, and you see the person is lifting their hands like this, do it. It will benefit you. Don't be ashamed. When you know the value of these things, tonight as your teacher, as your guru, I am giving this information so that when you know the value of these things, you will be able to gain from it. Tonight again, I apologize for going over my time. I again have stressed that I have been reading from the Agni Purana, except for this last part where I was reading from this publishing of Sant Keshava Das, Sadguru Sant Keshava Das. We did a write-up on the Gayatri Mantra. You know I love Gayatri Mantra, I'm always reading. And in it he talks about the Purusha Sukta. In those verses that we chanted there, he's talking about wisdom. Please send me your questions. Please click and join the WhatsApp group. If you're looking at this on the repeat on YouTube, for all my subscribers, Pranam Sitaram, I didn't forget you. I'm putting stuff for you. Please subscribe to the channel so that we can grow this community. I hope that you put these things to practice. If you have questions, please reach out to me. I hope for some people, because maybe I do things a little different to some of the pundits that you're accustomed to, and I hope for my brother pundits that are listening, the reasons why we do certain things as simple as why the diyas is facing this way and not this way, etc. Please, there are teachings, there are reasons for these things. If we could only teach people, maybe it would be easier for people to follow. I hope you've learned something, and again, please send me your comments, please send me your questions, and I'll get back to you. May God bless you, everybody. Tonight is our second night. Tomorrow night is Mommy's birthday. I didn't know if I mentioned that tomorrow night is my mother's birthday, and she wanted me to read the Kaliya discourse tonight. Tomorrow night I'll be reading Bhagavad Purana, definitely Bhagavad Purana, the Kaliya and Krishna interaction. If you don't know what I'm talking about, be viewing, you'll get it. Okay, everybody, till tomorrow. Tvameva mata chapita tvameva tvameva bandhu chasika tvameva tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva Tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. Tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Prem Solo Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki Jai. Satya Sanatan Dharma ki Jai. Surya Narayan Swami ki Jai. Shri Gayatri Mata ki Jai. Jai Jai Sitaram. Sitaram everybody. Have a pleasant night. Remember, send your comments, like and share the satsang. Look out for me tomorrow night. Those of you on YouTube, please subscribe and share for your family, dear ones, and those of you in Canada, South Africa, in the different parts of Europe that are under trouble. May God bless you. Please utilize this time we have together via virtual satsang and enjoy your dharma, learn of your dharma. God bless you and bless your family. Prem Sabalo Shri Adi Shakti Mata ki Jai.